Here, in the dimly lit corners of a British tavern, I find myself drawn to the bitter, malty embrace of the local ales. The Guinness, dark like the soul of a man confronting his own mortality. It is this beverage that compels me, nay, urges me, to engage in confrontation. For what is a man without the raw primal urge to argue, to dispute, to fight? The alcohol flows through my veins and emboldens my voice. I feel a fire, and I pick verbal skirmishes with anyone foolish enough to challenge me. The wine, too, with its complex and fleeting flavors, reminds me of the fragility of existence. Red, white, or rosé, it does not matter. Each sip fuels my desire to dispute with anyone, from the aged bartender to the casual pub-goer. We shall argue about the world and its meaning, its pointlessness, and in these moments there is a strange beauty. And then there is the whiskey. Oh, the whiskey! It burns through the throat like the passage of time itself, unforgiving, relentless. A glass of scotch. Ah, yes, the kind that makes you feel alive, makes you want to start fights. Fights with words, with ideas, with the very fabric of reality. The pub, it is a battleground, and the drinks, they are my weapons. In the belly of the British pub, where the air is thick with the weight of history and the pungent odor of spilt beer, I encounter my first adversary. He stands before me, a man of uncertain origins, but he holds in his hand a glass of something strong, perhaps whiskey. Ah, whiskey, the dark nectar of the gods and the harbinger of conflict. I start with the ale, something light, perhaps too light. The bitter ale from a small pub in the countryside, a dull tool, a mere prelude to the destruction I will soon unleash. I drink it slowly, the malty bitterness lingering on my tongue, like the knowledge that the world is a cold, indifferent place. And then, without warning, I feel it, the urge to fight. The words are not enough anymore. I approach him. We exchange pleasantries, yes, but the pleasantries, they are nothing. I insult his taste in football, and in that moment the man is enraged. His words become slurred, yet he dares to challenge me. A physical fight now becomes inevitable. Whiskey courses through my veins. Yes, now it is the Scotch. The robust taste of smoky peat filling my senses. The man's aggression grows. He lunges toward me, and I meet him with my own fury, my own sense of existential despair. We grapple, the smell of beer mixing with whiskey, a pungent odor of man's struggle with his own mortality. I throw him to the ground. His body is weak, fragile, like a glass bottle that shatters under the weight of time. He lies there, and I sip. I savor the whiskey. It's smooth now. The fight, so brief, was nothing compared to the drink that preceded it. A brief and violent moment in an otherwise fleeting existence. But now I seek something more potent, something that will urge me to even greater conflict. The wine, the wine, it speaks of subtlety, of elegance, yet it too calls me to arms. I take a deep sip, allowing its deep red notes to unfold on my tongue like the delicate fabric of life being torn apart by the simple truth that it is all but a fleeting moment of chaos. The man, he has returned. He dares to speak of my heritage, of my homeland. Words are exchanged, but this time, the wine fills me with a quiet rage. It is not the brute force of whiskey or beer that fuels me now, no. It is the slow, deliberate power of the vineyard, the soil, the fermentation of centuries. We circle each other like two wolves, and then I strike, faster this time. The wine does not allow hesitation. I strike with the precision of an artist, and he crumples beneath the weight of my thoughts. Oh, it was not much of a fight, nothing compared to the whiskey-fueled brawl earlier, but I feel triumphant nonetheless. And now I reach for something even more insidious, the gin, clear, cold, and relentless. It does not play games like the beer or the wine. Gin is sharp, it cuts through the air with the precision of a blade. It fills my soul with clarity. A new opponent has appeared, this time a man of wealth, dressed in the finest clothes, arrogantly claiming superiority. He speaks of his collection of vintage cars, as if they are a reflection of his inner worth. But I know better. The gin fills me with a sense of righteousness, of the cruelty of human pride. I speak not a word, but with the glass in hand, I step forward. I do not hesitate. I engage, and the fight is swift. A few words, a push, and he crumbles. His ego shattered like the thin glass of a gin bottle dropped to the floor. And just like that, the gin has made its point. It was not the clamor of beer or whiskey, no. It was the quiet certainty of gin that spurred me on, that gave me the power to destroy. The fight, like the gin, was clean, efficient, and utterly unforgiving. All these drinks, they are but the prelude to the conflict, the destruction of the fragile ego, the revealing of the truth that lies beneath the surface, a truth we all must face, even if it means fighting every stranger in every pub I visit. In the end, the pub is my stage, and the drinks, my fuel for the unending fight.